What's up, everybody? Welcome. I think we're live. If not, it is what it is. I am back, of course, along with Alex. It is just us two again. And we are reviewing a movie. What's up, Jan? That honestly, I thought I was going to fucking hate. When I talked to Lewis, because Lewis had messaged us and he was like, I liked it. And I looked at the trailer and I was like, this looks
He's
fucking dumb.
he said it was awful, but it was his kind of movie.
Which I don't even know if I would 100% agree it was awful because like
It
what
wasn't.
the
It
the
wasn't awful.
star of what is her name, Allison something or other, Hennigan or whatever the fuck her name is, the main star from the movie. She actually does a really good job, and then you've got the emotional damage guy that I found funny.
Emotional.
Seriously, I could not take that guy seriously though because it just reminded me of the emotional damage dude the whole fucking
And the way
time.
he talked, yeah, the way he talked, I was like, God, is this like stereotyping?
But like, and I think that's just his accent. Like, I don't think it's like
Okay.
I don't think they cast him and was like, you need to be super Asian. I think that's just how he talks. And if that's not the case, it is pretty fucked up in that case. Um, yeah, I shut up, phone. I really thought I was gonna hate this movie, and I actually rather enjoyed it. But before we get into it, Allison Williams, thank you, Jen. How have you been? What have you been watching in your off time? I see you playing a lot of Grounded. I'm just gonna call you guys the Groundlings, and I know that's stealing from a famous comedic,
Comedians,
but
yeah, group.
it's my world, and I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, we've been playing Grounded a lot. Raft, and then I've been watching the new Arc.
The new
It's a sci-fi. Like they built these arcs because Earth is fucking gonna die
dude,
and
I
nobody's gonna
stopped
stop.
watching Sci-Fi program because it just never got better. What's up, Don? Well, my
Um,
name is Earthbound, so I am pretty grounded. He is indeed bound to the earth.
uh,
She's the daughter of Brian Williams.
oh, okay.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
sorry.
All I know, what show was she in? Was it? It wasn't How I Met Your Mother. That was Kobe Smalls. I know Allison Williams was in that show Girls with the repulsive what's her face,
She was in
Lena
Get Out, which I
Dunham.
haven't seen. She was in Girls,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. She was. Yeah, she was good in Get Out. She does a really good job in this movie. I was
The
actually
Mindy,
rather impressed with her acting.
the Mindy Project.
I never watched that. Jen watched that. She's into that ultra white girl shit. I'm not.
She she did a voice for Simpsons.
Everybody who's anybody's done a voice for Simpsons. It's been they played themselves.
That's about it. That everybody.
She was
Oh,
good.
Lemony Snicket. She was in 8 episodes.
I never watched with the Neil Patrick Harris show. I never
Yeah,
watched that. But I liked her in it a lot. I think her and the girls acting really helps the movie a lot because you believe kind of like because the sent once I said before we get into this, what besides Grounded, what have you been watching? We're going right steamrolling
yes.
right into this motherfucker.
So, Ark is a new sci-fi. It's based on kind of like Wally style. The Earth is getting fucked up. We have to send out
Basically, what Rage was kind of the premise. That was the original premise of Rage. Was they sent everybody up into arcs to live and be born because the Earth was just haggard, and then the
Mhm.
idea was they were supposed to send down like the super soldier kids, and shit just went crazy.
Ah.
Well,
With this one, there's something happens while they're all in cryo, and they've only been in cryo for like 2 weeks or something, or no, like a year, and it fucks up something, and half the people that were in charge of the ship, all the main guys, they were in this half that got blown away. So now it's all these people that aren't really in
so
power
okay, let me ask
that's
that because
running.
that even goes to military, right? I know you want to keep your higher ranking people together because they're better than the plebs, but does it make a whole lot of like even the presidency has a designated survivor, right? Like, does
Yeah,
it make sense to have them all in the same fucking arc? Like,
right.
wouldn't you want your high ranking dudes like, hey man, no, you're in arc four, you're arc seven, like just in case, guys.
And also, if it's the same ship, let's scatter the fucking people's quarters, to different spots. So like if something happens in that section, not everybody's gonna die that we
Earthbound,
need.
the little bit I've played of Wolong is it's basically Ninja Gated meets Psycho. It's good. I haven't played. I mean, a Seiko, however you say it. I haven't played it in a while. I haven't played much of it.
I was expecting like somebody's grandma sitting there with a wig.
No, no, Norman, let me write down. Um, what else? Anything else you've been watching?
No, but all in all, for this being a sci-fi show, they found a way, since it's on Peacock Network, that they can actually say fuck, shit, all that
Yeah, but
shit.
they were
So
doing
it's
that
getting a
before
little
Peacock
better.
ever existed, though. They were doing
Yeah,
that with
because
Happy, remember?
if it airs after 9
Yeah, well
p.m. or some
they
shit.
had the 9 p.m. episode which was edited, and then they had like the episode after that was full bore. And I remember
Yeah,
Jen and I were watching, and that was one of the first shows where like basic cable shows where I heard fuck, and we DVR'd it, and I was like, was that just a fuck? And she's like, I'm pretty sure. So like we kept, and then I was like, holy shit, these are unedited, which like, I mean, every show's doing it now. Always Sunny not only said fuck, but they said cunt in the last season, like basic cable, like, which begs the question of why don't shows now like Family Guy and stuff like that, to maintain competitiveness, like push the envelope more? Like
yeah,
why can't Peter Griffin let a fuck slip if kind of basic cable's got that whole thing of like, yeah, you can technically I mean, from what I understood, I thought you always were allowed to say fuck, but the FCC was a cunt about it. Because
really.
like basic cable, the whole idea was is like there wasn't really any guidelines that basic cable had, but then the FCC came in, and for whatever reason, I think in all honesty to try to compete, and because you have networks like HBO and shit, basic cable has to mature, including Sci-Fi putting on better shows, and even as you said, you're liking that, what is it, that Navy SEAL show on CBS,
Yeah, the last two seasons of it, is when they went strictly to the app, so they were able to say whatever the fuck they want, and there's nothing
which is,
pulled.
I mean, it really does signal the dying age of TV, though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
Like literally, TV is the PG-13 version of what you can get on an app.
or just PG, because anybody could, parental guidance. That's it.
You should be able to say any swear word on any channel. I thought that's how it was for a long time, but then the FCC came in, because I thought that was the whole concept behind basic cable, was like it was like no limits, and then they
Right.
imposed limits.
Remember when WWE was Attitude Era,
Yep.
and DX got up there and they said, okay, from the hours of such and such to such and such, we're only allowed to say this and this and this,
Yeah.
but we can't say it like this unless it's in the context of this. So then they started going back and forth. Oh, so if
Well,
I
yeah,
use it in this sentence,
because that's when they were 3 hours long as well,
oh
right?
yeah,
And so
oh they still
like,
are, they still are.
well, yeah, but they were only 2 hours for like a decade, and then they went back
Yeah,
to the 3 hour format. But that 9 o'clock hour is when you'd start getting the sexualization. That's when you had DX come out and like, you're an asshole, and that's when McMahon would be out and you son of a bitch.
hmm
Like that's when you get all your ludus. I mean, 8 o'clock hour was Kurt Angle spraying you with beer or with milk. The 9 o'clock hour was The Rock talking about whooping your candy ass.
or calling Vicky Guerrero a stupid skank.
Dude, I remember that one thing they did with Trish Stratus and Vince McMahon where like they were supposed to be having an affair. And I remember watching it with my mom, and my mom's like, Jesus, they're going pretty hard with this one. Because like McMahon was
Yeah.
like groping her in this skit. It was pretty odd. McMahon's a
Did you
funky motherfucker, man.
did you see the one where Triple H is behind it trying to show Trish some moves, and Stephanie walks in? He's like, no, 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 that's not what it
Yes. Yeah, I
was.
think that's all tied in the same segment where McMahon was trying to like show her golf moves or some shit. So Megan. Oh, actually, you know, what have I been watching? A lot of
What
The
have you been
Office.
watching?
We've been watching The Office. They have 2 seasons of the Superfan episodes we haven't seen yet, so we're enjoying and kind of disappointed because like Alex is staring into the sun.
Yes,
The
I turned
ex
down the volume.
the extra shit in season 5 so far is all gold. So it's like I understand you needed a 22-minute episode, but you robbed fans of this show of so much good content for how long since it's been off air? A decade?
Mm,
Or whatever it's been since it ended. I don't remember. I think it was like 2011 or something when it ended. So like it's awesome to see it, but it's also kind of shitty where it's like the only way you saw this stuff before is if you went into like the DVD extras or on Vudu if they have them, the extras if you own the series digitally, and watch the extras just in short clip form. It is so nice to see some of the extra content.
you
Other
learn
than
on
that though,
TikTok.
oh fuck TikTok, Chinese spies. I haven't watched you know what's honestly been consuming my life is I was playing Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Mm,
I play what I play on stream, and I even streamed it the one day because I woke up and I really just wanted to fucking play it because I was getting close to the end. And now I don't know if I'm buying the sequel, which is technically a remake of a Japan only release, or I did start the game Judgment, which is a spin-off, which is seemingly going to be just as fun. So that's been taking up a lot of my off time. And there also hasn't been a lot of great movies coming out. Like if you happen to check your Netflix queue, your Hulu new movies, your Prime new movies, your Paramount new movies, your Peacock new movies, other than like Megan and a handful of nobody gives a fucks, nothing good is being released. Like not even on the open purchase market is there really anything worth it. Like I think you have Knock at the Cabin, Magic Mike 3, and then there's not in the market space. There's really
What,
nothing new that's worth a watch.
what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago? Disney released Black Panther,
Yeah,
continuing
yeah.
the Marvel.
Well, so I'm actually pissed off about that because I read reports of the CGI designers from Ant-Man basically saying that all of the budget and best resources went to Black Panther 2. And
Hmm.
Ant-Man was just kind of like, this is what you have left over. Do what you can.
So they were the Danny DeVito.
The Donnie DeVitos from Throw Mamas from the Trains. If you haven't seen Super Troopers 2, you really need to. It's fucking hilarious. Nimbly bimbly. I mean, fucking hilarious. I watch all of the Broken Lizard content. All right, so
Happiness is a penis in
yeah,
your asshole.
a penis in your asshole. Yeah, fuck you, Americans. Not everybody wants to fuck you. I love that part. So
Oh,
Megan
geez.
is a movie that I'm happy to say I was very wrong about. My initial impression was this movie's going to be hot dog shit. It looked stupid. It looked like it was going to be B level, and it wasn't. It wasn't a B level movie.
Even even with the shit that people were really complaining about was the dancing and the music, it wasn't that bad. It was
You know
really the
what?
character. It
I
was part of the
liked
character.
that scene.
Yeah.
That scene felt like an 80s horror movie mixed with 90s influence because that's when you have her dancing, but that's also she starts to kind of do the like Ringu shit that she shows later
Hmm.
on when she attacks the girl in Allison Williams. Like, I don't know, that scene where she's going, because to be fair, it is a slow roll movie. Like the first 45 minutes, the basic story is the little girl's parents die. She goes with her aunt to live. And her aunt is developing this new toy, which is essentially an AI giant Barbie, like a giant AI American doll that can basically raise your child for you.
You get to the 50-minute mark, and that's when you finally says, okay, this is probably a little creepy now.
Yeah,
This is where it's supposed to be creepy.
the well, you get. I mean, yeah, she doesn't. There's really no violence that she. I mean, there is the dog,
The dog, and then the boy with the
the
ear.
boy, and
That was
then.
fucking
By
awesome.
the way, I do gotta say, quite a creative kill in this movie. Power washed to death. Which I mean, power wash can really they put a hole in you.
It can hurt you.
They'll cut your toes off. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're going right to the skull with it. You may have some credence, but yeah, power washed to death. I will say, the body count is not as large as I thought it would be. It's the kid, the dog. I'm gonna include the dog because I like dogs and I like people
Yeah.
less than dogs. Um, the neighbor, the Karen next door.
Yeah.
She
Uh,
doesn't get either two of the lab people.
well, they don't say. I mean, it's like
No,
it
no,
kind
they
of like just leaves
survive
you.
because at the end they come out and the girl from the lab and the
Okay,
dude that was hanging both get out of the cop car.
Tess and Cole. Okay,
So they both survive. You do have the owner,
David. Yeah, David.
emotional damage, and you do have the intern or assistant, whatever he
The
is.
thief. The thief. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Kurt.
Which I like how she called him out on it too. Like, you were,
Yeah.
she like just completely plotted a plausible murder within fucking seconds after doing it. That whole sequence, actually, I like the '80s like synthwave music. I found her dancing a little funny, actually. On those scenes, I normally will kind of be like, what the fuck? For whatever reason, maybe it's because it's killer AI.
Yeah.
I did kind of enjoy it. Like if it was a Chucky doll, I'd have been like, kick the fucking thing, like you
Yeah.
know me. But like because it's essentially iRobot in a wig, I think some of those rules that normally piss me off, I was laxed on, which made me, I think, all in all, really enjoy this film.
It was also the creativity with the kills. So like the paper cutter.
Oh, dude,
She rips that off.
the only other movie that's done paper cutter kills is the fucking Punisher, believe it or not, that I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's that scene where he it's not the one where he's fighting the Russian. It's the one where he fights the Russian. They hide him, and then like he basically rips the paper cutter off and puts it in the center of the guy's fucking head.
Nice.
Watch the unrated cut if you can of that movie. I don't even know if it's out on digital. I have an old fucking DVD copy of it that I know for sure has the unrated on it. But go on, sorry. Yeah, the kills, I agree.
Yeah.
While I did kind of want more of them, though. The ear ripping off, really, I was like, oh, because it just, as it stretches,
And
I
it
was
starts
just
to
like,
become transparent. It's like,
yeah, I was just
okay.
like, oh, man, fuck. I do wonder how much was in the theatrical compared to this, because this is the, we should have said that. The the
Yeah.
cock cut is an unrated cut, or
It
whatever.
does have the theatrical and it has the unrated, but the unrated is being pushed so much on that channel.
Yeah, I'm going to imagine the unrated was only small parts, though, considering there isn't. I mean, it's violent, but
They
this
both
isn't what I would call gore porn in any fashion.
they both had the same runtime when I looked at it.
So my thinking is the ear. I think you get that close up when it rips off is probably part of the unrated.
Okay.
Um, Other than that, I can't really tell you what would be unrated. I do think
Maybe
the
part of the
scene,
pressure washer, maybe.
maybe, yeah, you do see a decent, but even that, like, it compared to what I thought it was going to be, which I thought it was just going to be a stupid, cheesy bloodbath, it's rather tame. It's not really that hardcore of a movie. This is like a horror movie that you do watch on a date. Like you watch it with your wife, and
Yeah.
you go like, it's violent, but it's not crazy violent. It's not scary, but it's kind of tense. I will say at that 50-minute mark when things start picking up, you really get a good solid 25-30 minutes of awesomeness as far as if when you're looking for like the robot going on a fucking tangent.
It does also have a good story as far as like making it a tearjerker in a way.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is it didn't feel
Yeah.
hollow. Like between the acting and the writing wasn't terrible. Like I even like the fact that Megan, the doll herself, calls out Allison for being a
Mhm.
shitty designer that she didn't put any of the protocols or anything in.
Yeah, you didn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I that was because that was what I was thinking was like, wait a second, if she's so brilliant and can build this thing, how do you forget to put firewalls and protocols and shit in there? And I love the fact that Megan is she's trying to kill her. It was like you weren't good enough to do me right, basically.
She was just trying to make a babysitter, but she forgot about safety
Well,
nets.
and also I am gonna say that this movie is probably working under a large like we need to be careful of our children being on screens because like I think the whole thing is a metaphor for children getting addicted to technology. Because
Yeah.
you have that scene towards the end where Gemma tells her, like, I just need to see her. And where Allison Williams kind of looks at her and realizes, like, oh, fuck, I made you an artificial best friend that you actually love. Like, you're addicted to this thing.
That's where the fucking kid becomes a fucking a little devil.
Yeah,
And
dude,
and I was ready to fucking just kill her.
I didn't understand that. It was weird to me, though, because it went like, I understand it's probably like, oh, had emotional trauma. She just lost her family, blah, blah, blah. But like it felt out of place because it literally goes from like I want to play with my dolly to like I'm gonna fucking murder you. Like she's throwing
Yeah.
chairs and shit, and it didn't make sense to me.
She was ready to stab him.
Like yeah, she went from like innocent little girl to street vato. She's like, what makes you think I won't cut you? Like you know what I mean? Like she's just walking around with a limp. Like what the fuck is going on here? And fucking she's like black and white flannel out of nowhere.
What makes
Holy
you think I
shit.
won't cut you?
She's gone full fucking vato, bro. I'll fucking take a piece out of you, man. Give me my
Fucking shit.
fucking dolly back.
I think the only bad acting that I can say was there was the lady who played the therapist.
Yeah, she was terrible.
Yeah, and she was like explaining everything to us so fucking like plain, like instead
Well,
of making it acting.
it's almost like there was supposed to be more of her.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there was supposed to be she gets killed scene, but they cut it, and therefore like her scenes just kind of go nowhere.
Well, maybe they cut that out and added the other stuff in. That's why it's still the same runtime.
I mean, she was terrible in the movie. Everybody else did a decent job. It's a I mean, fairly small cast too. You're only looking at like what 6 actual main people.
Yeah.
You got the girl, the doll, if you want to consider it, the aunt, and her 2 lab partners, and the emotional damage guy, and the assistant. So like 7. But I will say maybe that's what attributes to the small death count because it's like feasibly there's only so many people we can have this fucking doll kill. Like
Yeah.
realistically.
Now, also, I think the best thing that could have happened to the little girl was that both her parents were killed, because they're the type of people that I don't like in this world.
Dude, for one thing, like, how do you not check the weather?
Yeah,
How is the guy such a fucking dumb asshole
that he doesn't know his car's
that
four
that
wheel drive or not.
what? No, well, he just buys a car and thinks because it's a crossover, it's 4-wheel drive, and he's actually got
Yep.
front wheel. Like, like, where are you going? Like, what do you have to do that's so important that you're willing to risk you and your family's life? Which in the end, the mother and the father die in a car crash when they get taken out by a snowplow because they get caught in like a blizzard. Yeah, just how unprepared and stupid are you? By the way, I sent this as a text. I haven't looked into it, but I am almost positive the voice of the little farting toy in the beginning is the same voice in Sunset Overdrive that does the voice for the actual mascot for Sunset Overdrive, the one that's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you" as he's a boss fight. You fight him
Okay.
several times. If it's not the same person, holy fuck, is it a 1-to-1? Like, they sound exactly the same if it's not the same voice actor.
So it only gives you 4 voice actors, and none of them is of that PD whatever thing it was called.
It might, yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to look into it.
Perpetual Pets. There you go.
But it was, it could not be the same person at all. And they sound very similar. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, man, I just played Sunset Overdrive on stream, and I'm over here like, I kind of want to play it again. I kind of want to play it off stream.
They actually have toys that do that shit now. Like you feed them, and they shit out for you.
What is the point of that?
Like they actually have baby dolls that you have to buy diapers
Just
for.
get him a fucking dog.
You feed it a bottle, and it'll actually shit stuff out.
I'll tell you, and I will say, this movie is so fucking anti-dog. Like, the movie starts off with like the girl and her dog, and then it's like, but they don't live as long as you do. And then the toy is like the only toy that lives longer than you.
The commercials were definitely like RoboCop feeling.
I also got. You remember the 6th Day?
Yeah.
With Schwarzenegger about the cloning. Very reminiscent of the cloning commercials in that, where it's like, you don't have to say goodbye to your beloved pet, like that whole thing.
What was it?
But hold on, anti-dog, you have that. And then you have Allison Williams legitimately goes from like, your dog is a problem to, why can't I kill it? Like, she's got the cops there like, tell me I should be able to murder it.
She said, you need to put that thing down. That's what she tells the lady.
And then she's arguing with the cop like, there's nothing I can do to get it forced murdered. Are you kidding me? And so, yeah. And then, of course, the doll eventually fucking kills the dog, man. It really pissed me off. I knew they were going to do it.
Well, it was because the dog did attack her.
Yeah, but you can say that, but then it's like, but then the rest of the movie, she hacks apart fucking 3 other people. So, like, nah, fuck that doll, bro.
Her wires got crossed, man. She didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah, it was that time of the month for the doll. Hey, man, it's PMSing. Okay, one scene that in my head, I love that this happened, and it's at the end, and spoilers, guys, still recommend checking this fucking movie out, because it's the right level of goofy, it's violent, it's not scary, but it's a good fun movie.
It could be a good date movie.
Yeah, I would agree. Towards the end, when Megan has lost her shit completely and is attacking Allison Williams, right? The first thing I thought when Allison Williams walked into her shop was like, put on the gloves. Put on the gloves and beat the shit out of Megan. And then when the girl comes out of nowhere with the gloves and just grabs it and slams it, dude, I for whatever reason, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, just the CG of it or the animation, it all looked awesome. It was filmed really well. And usually if there's something in my head that a movie does, because very rarely do I go in my head of like, oh, they should really do this here. And then a movie does that. So when that happens, I'm always like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like, and like I said, the first 50, like you said, the first 50 minutes of this movie were like, whatever, a little slow, but it was still enjoyable.
Whenever that first robot would stand up, I kept thinking, ba-da-la-la-la-la, like,
oh, you know what I kept?
Big Hero 6. I kept hearing that every time it stood up.
Do you remember the robot in Judge Dredd? The military robot in the pawn shop?
Yeah.
That's what that fucking thing reminded me of too. The Stallone Judge Dredd.
Giovanni would remember this one. Robo Jock too, like the style of the robots.
Yeah. So was Real Steel just a remake of RoboJocks?
That's the one with yeah,
You the Mr.
it was,
Jackaman?
but they were using them to fight wars instead of using actual people to
See,
fight
I never
wars.
saw Real Steel. Was that any good?
Real Steel was just like boxing. So
Yeah, it
it's just
was
like,
just like
yeah.
competition.
It was good. It was all right. I mean, I liked it. I watched it. Had Hugh Jackman in it. Made
Who
me
says
laugh.
that his vocal cords are permanently damaged because of playing Wolverine?
Because he was playing
Because
Wolverine.
he had
Well,
to talk like I'm Wolverine, man.
is that what what's his name's gonna say about playing Batman all those years?
But Bale, but that's the crazy thing about Christian Bale. He literally goes from like, I'm Batman to like, all right, no, oh, I just want a bottle of coffee. You know, like he right into his British accent. It's crazy. Guy's awesome at
Isn't he also
voices.
like isn't he also like an angry person too all the time?
I don't know about that. I mean, here's the
Doesn't he
thing.
like cuss and swear at people all the time?
He
And
did have an instance where he went off on somebody on set,
yeah,
but
for a phone,
but
yeah, but
his
that's
no,
understandable.
it was for the lighting, which was reasonable. I don't know about if he's just a dick behind the scenes normally though.
I thought it was because of the phone, because when the phone rang, he goes, your phone's fucking on?" He's like, "What are you, a fucking amateur?" Like he
Oh,
yelled
that
at
was at the
somebody.
director, wasn't it? Well, see, there was maybe that was that one. I mean, but there was the one with the lighting where he's like, "I'm trying to do a fucking scene, and you're in the background with your lights, Lordy fucking da!" Like he just, this is like, and it was all like on set. He's just like literally ended a scene, and he's just screaming at this fucking key grip or whatever the person
But
was.
was he in full cowl though? Because that would be fucking
Oh no,
awesome if
I
he
think
was.
it legitimately was when he was playing John Connor.
Okay.
Or wait, no, who did he
Oh,
play in that?
in
Did he play
Terminator?
John Connor in that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when he was playing John Connor. So I think the whole thing was is he was trying to film
Terminator
one of
Salvation.
the scenes at the end where it's like emotional. It reminds me of Tropic Thunder when it's like, you know, Action Jackson here can't cry. It's all about emotionality. Like I think it was that situation where he's trying to like pour himself into the role. And the problem with method acting is how do you method act being a survivor of a Terminator war? Like that circumstance doesn't really exist to research.
What's that one theory that they have about Terminator, that John Connor's not the real John Connor from the Sent Him Back?
The problem
That
with the Terminator franchise is it's all askew, right? Because then you have Terminator, was it Genesis, which by the way, that's kind of a pretty badass action movie if you've never watched Terminator Genesis. It fucks up the entire timeline. It literally, the movie starts where at Terminator 1, and then you have old T-800 Schwarzenegger take down the original version of himself, the bodybuilder, all CG version of himself.
okay.
And then they go rescue Kyle Reese from Liquid Metal, which doesn't make any goddamn sense because
He
Liquid
didn't.
Metal never met Kyle Reese.
Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't take him on.
And yeah, they fucked with the timeline so much that after that you can't like. Then they did the Terminator Dark Fate where it's Schwarzenegger's T-800 is now aged even more. He's been living with a family that don't know he's a Terminator. He's domesticated. But it's not the same Terminator from the original movies. It's the Terminator because at the beginning of the film, a Terminator basically walks up to John Connor and shoots him with a shotgun as a kid and then wanders off. And the whole thing was they destroyed Skynet, but he was one of the last Terminators to be sent back. And he loses connection, so he only had one objective, which was to kill John Connor. Once he did that, he just wandered the world. And then so here we are in Dark Fate. He's living with this family, and he's like their father. It's just fucking stupid, frankly.
So, but one of the theories I heard was that the original John Connor died, sending the Kyle Reese back, and Kyle Reese ended up fathering a different John Connor because he was so adamant telling Sarah that that's John. You know, this is John,
Yeah, but how does that
and there
make
was
any sense? So
multiple,
it doesn't
because there
matter.
was multiple Sarah Connors, and it says that like you know, we don't know which one it is, but then he says I have this photo. This is all I have. So that's how he finds her.
Yeah, but it is her in the photo though, so
Yeah,
it's the right
but
Sarah Connor.
they're saying that the father was not really John or whatever, Kyle Reese. So they're saying that like he created the new John Connor that started. That's why it changed from what they had before.
Yeah, but there's no proof in any of the movies of that.
Okay.
Like the theory is, where is the theory? Like for a theory to have any relevancy, it has to come from something. And even in that scenario, John Connor sends him back, and he gives birth to the he has Kyle Reese has a child with a woman named Sarah Connor who only has one kid and names him John Connor. Like the problem with that theory is then you negate everything that happens in both Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, right? Like the two movies that are the actual staple of the franchise. Everything else after Terminator 1 and 2 is bullshit. It doesn't exist in my mind. It's not canon, even though they said it is over and over. Not for me. After number 2, none of it is canon because number 3, John Connor's on his own. Sarah Connor's dead of cancer. The Terminator somehow comes back and remembers him. It just, none of it makes sense.
Is that the one where with Nick Stahl?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't really like that one.
Here's the thing. Not a terrible action movie. There are some really cool scenes in that movie, specifically when they're doing like kind of the car chase and she's controlling all the vehicles and he ends up being like on a fire truck ladder getting rammed through buildings. And once again, not a terrible action movie.
Is that the
not
one
a good
with
Tomb
the,
Raider movie or
with
Tomb
the
Raider, Terminator
cemetery
movie.
scene?
Yes,
With
where he's got the
casket?
coffin. That's Sarah Connor's coffin, and then he, literally they go to the cemetery, and John Connor is like, "This is my mom's grave," and he rips the fucking coffin out, and he's like, "No, Sarah Connor's ashes were scattered in the ocean by her friends in Mexico." And he pulls it out, and it's full of fucking guns, including a minigun. One thing that is impressive about Terminator 3 is Schwarzenegger did get his biceps to the same size as they were in Terminator 2. Now, Terminator 3 came out in 03, mind you. Terminator 2 released in 92. So that's a decade later, and the guy was still able to maintain that. So good for him. I mean, he's also getting paid $20 million plus goddamn cuts of the overall take and everything. That's why he's been in them for so long. He wrote in his contract, if the movie is called Terminator, I get to fucking be in it. I produced half of these fucking pieces of shit.
I'm the only Terminator there is around here.
But even
I
I'm
even
at
call
that
myself
point.
the Governator.
Terminator 2 being like my favorite movie of all time, and just me loving Schwarzenegger, and I am in that point where they got to ditch him.
Yeah.
The problem is like, what do you reboot it, right? But what do you do? What you've got so much goddamn mythos that's been created over movie. Are you just retreading the first one? Do you do the smart thing and you make it more of a sci-fi horror than you stick to that lines, where the first one's more of a horror movie and the second one's more of an action?
Did they ever have a human version of where they got his face from? Or that hasn't been done yet?
What do you mean?
Like how they got the body type for the Terminator.
No, but I remember in Terminator 1, if you remember correctly, the first other Terminators that they were showing looked like Schwarzenegger stunt doubles. So it's almost like they were all the same model. But the problem is what do you do? Do you say Schwarzenegger was a crazy scientist that designed him after himself?
That's what I was saying. Whoever created the
The Skynet model?
the skin. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That actually wouldn't be a bad avenue to go down. As far as if you want to
he's old
reboot
enough
it.
now to be that crazy fucking guy. But can you imagine him saying smart things like on TV? Like
Yeah, I know. Well, we all saw Junior and how fucking terrible that was. It's my baby. I'm having a baby. Yeah. I do love how the captions on the stream when Yahoo is Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Still makes me laugh. Yahoo. But yeah, no. So yeah, the robot versus robot scene in this I thought was amazing. I do like how they set it up for a sequel where they basically say that Megan is no longer a physical property, but she's kind of in the network.
Yeah.
Essentially, which is kind of a neat concept that opens it up to a sequel. I don't know. I mean, I'd imagine the sequel would start with Megan like becoming awakening and be like putting herself back together. But either that or it's going to be a rival company makes a chip because the whole movie's about getting their technology stolen, essentially, or at least the fear of it.
Yeah. She's gonna find her way. She's gonna email herself to the other company that Kurt was sending stuff to.
I like I said, I didn't have the problem of like it's a doll, step on it with this movie. Like the only thing that I thought was stupid was how light she was. Like you're dealing with an android, it's not going to be light enough where you can just pick it up and toss it like it's made of stuffing.
Yeah, how she was walking like a football type seal.
Yeah, like that whole thing, little shitty. But other than that, the idea of it, like I said, I looked at it as like I do enjoy the movie iRobot, so I looked at it like a horror movie version of iRobot as a doll, um, and I enjoyed it. I'll be straight up. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Basically, I would give it higher if the first 50 minutes of the movie were a little bit faster paced. If we had maybe a little bit more death or a little bit more those tense scenes where you see Megan processing and
Yeah.
recalculating, I wouldn't mind seeing more of that sort of stuff.
For me, I'm gonna go with 4 because I actually did like this. Um, Also because it threw back to some of the stuff that when I was a kid, like the music style. So it was written by somebody who was like my age or maybe a little older.
It was directed by some random, to be honest. I didn't recognize the name at all.
Yeah. Because like their music choice, like at the end,
I did wonder why there wasn't more of that. Like I would have been okay if you had more of that music style in the forest scene.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I I like that so much that I kind of wish there was more of it because you really is only that one scene you get that flavor.
yeah. But I think it was at the end they played like Toy Soldiers or no, she sang the song
Yeah,
or some shit
yeah. Fire
by Martika.
away,
Yeah, by
fire
Martika.
away.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I know this song, and it took me until the end of the movie to fucking finally dawn on me. Like, I remember it as a kid. I was like, I remember that song now.
Well, no,
Okay,
the one was wasn't it a Rihanna or Katy Perry song she was singing?
I think that was at the
That
beginning,
was the
but
yeah, that was the
at the end
Ricochet, I think
it
is what
was
she was
Toy
singing.
Soldiers.
Yeah. The singing thing was creepy because it's like, did anybody program this fucking thing to sing? Like nobody
Yeah,
understands that it's creepy that it's singing?
yeah. Also, didn't you say something about his charging station?
Yeah, dude, that's legitimately creepy to have that fucking doll on charge just staring at you. Like I know it's like
And then
powered down, but
and the seat lights up too when it sits down to charge.
yeah, it's a nightlight too. But like how much like the guy asked her like what is he? Is it less than a Tesla? And she's like, depends
Yeah,
on the model. And he's like, we're doing it. It's like,
yeah.
less. That's what 70 grand, 60
Well,
grand.
they said that the doll was going to cost 10,000.
That what Teslas? I mean, I think you can get the sedan Teslas for like 35K.
Really?
I think they have a lower cost version of Tesla, but those are the ones that also have really weird like manufacturing issues.
So when he does the commercial, when David does the commercial, he says, for $10,000, you too can have your own,
I
doll or
missed that.
whatever.
Okay. I like when he goes in there and he's like, I need this whole fucking atrium filled. And his
Yeah.
assistant's like, well, we should get some kids. And he's like, I don't want no fucking kids in here. I liked his character. I didn't expect them necessarily to kill him though. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't
The
know who was gonna die. I think I appreciated
I
about that.
I knew that he was gonna die. Kurt like
I
Kurt
knew
caught me a
Kurt
little
was
off.
going because he was stealing the
As soon as I
secrets.
saw that he was stealing, I was like, okay, he's gonna die.
Yeah,
But
he'll be a victim.
I didn't suspect him as the thief though. So that's what I kind of liked about it. It took me a little while to get there. So that was
I
kind of
did
cool.
find the dialogue of the main woman a little like when the cop is like, well, no, you gave us testimony at two different scenes. She's like, what are you trying to connect something? Like she was
Yeah.
very upfront, and I was like, all right, I'd ask that too. I go, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you trying to talk? What are you trying to do here?
He's like, no, 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 not.
I think also maybe she's gonna learn lessons to not have her entire house wired. Like maybe
Yeah.
get a lamp that you turn on with a switch.
Who knows? Maybe she'll be what's his name in what's his name Devin in Final Destination at the cabin with no technology,
Here's what I want to
just
happen.
hiding in a blanket.
I want it to be a year later, and a rival company is coming out with their own version of Megan, and Megan somehow gets into their system and corrupts it and takes it over. So then Allison Williams has to build Megan 2 to take it on.
Ooh.
Think about it, man. Robo
Oh yeah.
battle?
Huh?
Come on. That would actually, I'd fucking pay to see that. I'd go to the theaters to see that. And if you take my idea, motherfuckers, I'm coming for you. This is being recorded. It's on the fucking channel. I'll reference this. Even though
It's
we
gonna
don't
be
have many
timestamped.
viewers, you'll be one of them, you liars.
It's gonna be timestamped. This is the day.
Yeah, you bitch. I get to go to the mall tomorrow so my wife can buy a charm for her charm bracelet. A
Oh.
mall that has virtually nothing in it for me.
Is it a charm to represent you and her, or is it to represent pets?
Depends on which one she picks. She's got a couple of them she was looking at. One of them had pets. It was pet stuff. One of them was a Wally and an Eve charm, which is
I
one of our favorite Pixar movies to watch together.
I have to find a dog mom one for my wife now.
Pandora has one. Jen has, there's two varieties. There's a paw print one that says dog mom, and then there's another one that has other writing.
Yeah. Maybe for her birthday. She doesn't watch the podcast, so maybe
Well,
for
see,
her birthday.
that's the whole thing is like it was our anniversary Tuesday, 40 years together. And
40 years, huh?
14.
Oh,
And
you're 40. I was like, you're not even that age yet.
feel like it. 14 years together. So we didn't really do anything Tuesday. We went fancy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We went fancy Wednesday, which was the anniversary, and we ordered Olive Garden because it's our takeout night. And we just decided Saturday we'll go to dinner, which we're going to get sushi, which I'm looking forward to. And before we go to dinner, we'll go out and we'll go to the mall so she can get it. Like I said, the mall really has shit that I have any interest in. I mean, to be fair, Best Buy doesn't anymore either. Like, what retail establishment really has anything I have any interest in at this point?
I've been with my wife for 20 years.
Guitar Center, maybe. I don't know.
20 years we've been together, and I've been married to her for it's going to be 18 this year.
Yeah, we are 14, and I believe 6 or 7 married. I'm
6.
still, I think it's 6. 2017,
6.
so 6, yeah. But we were together for a while, then we got hitched. That was a
And then everything went uphill, right?
great disaster of a day.
It all went uphill from there?
No. Before my wedding was a fight because her dad had issues, and then we got married at the courthouse. We get there, and my mom needs a wheelchair. And I'm like in my fucking nice clothes, like going to the upstairs floor to get a wheelchair, then down this long fucking ramp the courthouse has to get her ass to bring her up. My dad, for some reason, decided to go get a Dunkin' Donuts coffee before coming to the courthouse. So they were so late that we were waiting for them to arrive that we were the last couple to get married, and the court was waiting, and they were being very nice and patient with us.
Well, that's cool at least.
Yeah, I was like, I'm really sorry, but they're like, don't worry about it.
We got married in my cousin's backyard, and it was her friend who was an ordained minister, and he's the one that did the ceremony for us. So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I mean, courthouse was what I mean. The thing about it was when you go to the courthouse, you get that marriage certificate. It's already kind of like we're married. Like, yeah, the judge hasn't said it, but our names are on this thing.
They give you the marriage. They give you the marriage certificate, and then you can either get it done there, or you go to somebody and they do it, and then they have to sign it.
Yeah,
and that's what we did. We took it to somebody and they signed it. And
I don't remember. That whole day was a blur because, like I said, we had the issues with her dad, and then my mom, and then we got back, and we had dinner, and then I got blackout fucking drunk.
Oh, Giovanni and Anthony's the other two guys from our podcast, for those who don't know,
who are dead, by the way.
Their mom,
they died in a snowplow accident.
She goes, oh, you guys are getting married, and she starts fucking blubbering like a fucking whale, just she's like, you did not tell me, and like while she's talking, you can hear her voice going up and down.
See, for us, it was social media age. So as soon as we got the certificate, Jen took a photo and put it on Facebook. Yeah. So everybody, and my friends list are all, they were all assholes from high school, and then they got shed during the Trump era. Most of them by leaving, which I can give two fucks about. I mean, if anybody wants to make the argument that unless you're like a best friend of the person, you don't see anybody from high school, and even some of your best friends from high school, a lot of them you don't see. If you're lucky, you see a best friend from high school.
Shit, I've tried to make plans to actually go have coffee with some of my friends from back then.
I've tried to make plans with dinner with you, so I know how it feels, you pumpkin.
But I'm talking about like people I went to school with. See, you and I have a big age gap, so that's
so what? I'm mature enough. So what? I wanted to go to a Chinese buffet for $6.50 a person. Dude, I haven't been to a Chinese buffet in so long. I haven't been to any buffet in so long that like just the thought of going to one of those shitty Chinese buffets we used to go to kind of churns my stomach.
You definitely got to try out like those Korean barbecue places.
Oh, dude. Well, see, that's the thing is
it's your own table. They bring you the stuff.
Well, like there's places like Texas de Brazil or Fogo de Chao, right?
Yeah.
With Jen's bariatric surgery, she can't exactly flip it up for green for very long because she doesn't have space. So it ends up being her eating $25 worth of a meal when it's $50 a ticket, and me stuffing myself to where I'm almost falling asleep on the drive home.
Yeah, because these type of places you can't bring anything home. You can't take leftovers.
No, and like we used to go to like Texas de Brazil and all that shit, but nowadays like a buffet style anything unfortunately doesn't make sense. Now I will say I will say the sir I say sir
That's
the
it.
the sushi place I can't talk tonight. The sushi
Where's
place
Bad
we're going
Romeo?
to, I will be taking advantage of their all you can eat. But I do this because this is actually we had a place that was just in an area of it was like 55th and State, like Hyde Park area or whatever that is. So like no parking. The place itself is tiny, but it was good sushi, and they too had a you just for 25-30 bucks you can have as many rolls as you want. Just make sure you eat it all, because if not, you're paying per piece. And so when we moved for a long time, that we just kept going to that place, and I was like, we need to find something in our area because it's a fucking pain in the ass going down there. And we're down south side.
Yeah.
So I went to Orland Park, and they had a place, and we tried it. Bigger menu than the other place. Same, if not better, quality sushi. And also, this place has a big menu of appetizers. Like, you can go in, and if you're that type of person, you can order 6 pounds of crab rangoon pieces. Like, that's part of it, too.
Do they have veggie style stuff?
Yeah, well, they have veggie rolls and shit. Like, this one that, I
And
mean,
are they also compliant with non-contamination?
I don't know. I don't ask those
Yeah.
questions.
See, that's why I can't go to certain places like that, because
Yeah, but you
I
can't go to
never know.
sushi places anyways because of the shellfish allergy
Yeah,
potential.
but if they remember how we used to go to Flat Top, you put the little thing allergies.
Well, flat top, yeah, but flat top was bullshit though. They cooked it all on the same surface.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter if you
But
had if you had allergies. Guess what? Your food got cooked on the same surface the last assholes
I thought
did.
they had a separate grill for that. I thought they had it separated.
No, they might have. They did have one where they would cook it in a pan. Maybe
Yeah.
that was the allergy. But then your allergies are the same as the last assholes that was cooked in that pan.
Well, no, if you have a shellfish allergy,
I think it was for
you,
eggs too.
oh
Well, no,
wow, yeah,
you had to
yeah, people.
request eggs, dude. I miss flat top. I really do. That flat top that was on Belmont and Southport. I spent so many days after school eating 4 bowls and almost throwing up. There was one time Jeremy and I went.
Well,
We ate
explain what
so
Flat Top is
we ate
for those who might not know.
one sec. We ate so much just trying to get from Flat Top to his truck. We almost threw up.
Oh,
But yes, Flat Top was a all-you-can-eat stir-fry place, and they would have their ingredient. It was kind of like Subway, where they had their ingredients. You would put it in a bowl. You would tell them you want a specific meat. Early on, you would take the meat and put it into a smaller bowl. Then later, you would just put a stick in it, and they would give you.
yeah, the sticks would be poultry stick.
Yeah,
Or
that's because they got
this
tired of
stick.
people eating. Like I used to go. I remember the one time I went in there, and something they put in there was not good, and I got some of the worst food poisoning I'd ever had.
You,
Like
it was probably stuff that sat out in room temperature for
while
way too long.
while I was in the bathroom, like do you know what the smell of a dead rat decaying smells like?
Oh,
Yes, that was what was coming out, and I'm clearly like I'm at home going, I've clearly been food poisoned. Like this isn't I had the tangy spicy sauce. No, this is something in my meal today is not sitting well. We
something
still
gave me
went
the
back
bubble
though.
gut bad.
Oh god, it was beyond that. It was basically you don't let a bubble happen. You better be near a porcelain throne. Because if you hear the bubble, much like if you hear the thunder, it's already too late. It was go time.
Oh
But
god.
I miss that place. Jen and I used to go there a lot. We actually, one of the few times early on that the two families, my family and her family, ever actually met was we brought her brother, her father, everybody. We all went to Flat Top. My awkward parents. That was back when my mom was alive. That was one of the few times they ever met in person like that. I think the first ever actually.
Oh wow. The first time my in-laws and my parents met, they were at separate times. So my mother-in-law would always work, and my father-in-law, just got here, so he would come to all the parties, and he loved all the parties. And then when she would come home, it would be during the week, and we don't party during the week. So she would come over for dinners during that time, and it's just like, oh yeah, simple dinner.
The other day thought of your dad getting out of his UPS truck. I don't remember what I was watching, but there was UPS in it, and I was like, I remember Floyd wearing those shorts.
Oh yeah.
Those UPS guys shorts.
They also had to wear the brown socks, the brown shorts, the brown shirt. Everything had to be brown.
I'm surprised your dad didn't just wear like bright red shirts when he was off the clock. Just like anything he could to get some color in his fucking brown life.
Nah, he was too busy snoring, man, because he was so fucking run down, working 14-hour days and shit.
It was hot in those trucks too in the summer, man. Fuck.
Oh yeah. And
All
then all the
right.
new ones have air conditioning.
Really?
Yep, the old ones didn't.
No, they didn't. They were steel microwaves.
It was a vent that you pulled and it blew air while you're driving. That's it.
Yeah, literally just a hole in the ground. There's some more ventilation. Leave the door open. Stupid bastards. Also probably pretty fucking cold in the winter. Like
I can attest to that.
probably just not a comfortable ride like any time. Like maybe there those days where it's like 65 degrees out and the sun's shining, those were nice. But other than that,
Well, yeah, because they're domes over the top of the truck. They were light plexi, so it did let the heat in from the top.
yeah, so like
You could actually get sunlight.
if it was kind of cool out but sunny, that was probably like the only time UPS truck drivers were. I mean, the warehouse people are probably dying 100% of the time, but
I did driver helper for 2 years,
yeah.
and it was fucking crazy, man, crazy fucking shit. Because they got that metal floor, and regardless if you have non-skid shoes or not, you fucking slip every time you take a step. So that's why they tell you hand on the fucking railing as you go in and out. And I was like, I learned. I
Yeah,
learned.
the three what was it? 3 points of contact to get in the
Oh
truck.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Um
that's anything in life, even fucking rock climbing. 3 points of contact.
yeah, rock climbing. You can take that off my bucket. That was never be on my bucket list. Like people have I want to go rock climb on Mount Kilimanjaro. Nope, not on my bucket list.
Well, you could do rock walls.
Nope, not on my I'm the guy in the weight room. Like while you're climbing rocks, I'm over there pressing.
They don't have enough people to harness my weight while I go up.
Yeah. It's like a Jackie Chan movie where there's 16 small Asian men trying to lift you.
Well, they don't lift you; they just hold you in case you fall. So if you, as long as you're
Fucking
climbing, that's okay.
I'm over there like thumbs upping them, and they're going, I don't know. We try.
A true story. When we went to the Philippines, my wife tells the guy in the Philippines, "What's the weight limit for the zip line?" And he looks at her like, "What weight
Weight
limit?
limit?
No." And he's like, "Why?" And she goes, "What about him?" He looks at me and goes, "No."
No.
And I was like, "I don't want to do it in the first place."
Oh
I was
God,
like, "Why did you even
I'm
ask?"
having fucking flashbacks from what was the Vietnam movie? The guy that God, I can't remember anything right now. Full Metal Jacket when she looks
Okay.
at the black guy and she's like Tubuku.
Tuboku.
Yeah, it's one of those fucking scenes. Poor Alex.
But I didn't even want to know. But my wife, she was really adamant about finding out if I could do it or not, because she wanted me to participate. And I was
I
like,
mean, it's
no. I
kind
was
of
like,
a
I'm
good
not.
thing though, right? Because like, yeah, it sucks that you're fat, but the same token, did you wanna fucking do that?
No.
No, like literally, like here's the thing: is I don't like roller coasters, and when we eventually go to Disney, like I've been open, like the rides that I have interest in and can do, I'll go on. But like other
Yeah.
than that, my big thing of going to Disney is I want to walk around. I want to go down Main Street. Like those things to
Yeah.
me are cooler than any ride in the place.
You have to do drinks around the world,
See, things like that, seeing the
and any.
fireworks at night, like all
Yeah.
of that stuff is what I want to experience. The rides really aren't that big of a thing for me.
So if you do Epcot, you have to take whatever whatever the country's drink of choice is. You have to do that, and if they have a food, you have to pair it with it. That's what you have to do. And if they
Oh,
don't offer it, then you just take the drink or the
I'm
food.
gonna have some wine and stinky cheese for France. I mean, I'd
it
imagine
was
that's
it
what they
was
have.
it was a lot of fun. We did it when I went when the year after before my mom
Yeah, see,
passed.
that shit
We
sounds
did that.
fun
That
to
was
me. The
fun.
rides, I can give two fucks about.
We also went with three different families, so we all wore the shirts too. So we look like fucking primary
You
colors
were a
of the
cult.
crayon.
Yeah, you were a
Yeah,
cult. It was just like
we all look like
fucking
crayons. It was pretty cool.
themed. That does sound fun. All right, so you said four. I'm at 3.5. Next week, I don't honestly know what we're doing. We haven't, I don't think, chosen movies yet. It should be full strength again.
Okay.
I believe Giovanni and Anthony will be here. If not, I believe Lewis at the minimum will be here. We have to see what's up with Jobo.
Yeah.
Um, we don't have movies yet. Then there's one more with us, and then we have the final episode or the next Tarantino one. which will be the Kill Bills. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to watching those.
Yeah, that'll be good again.
And if and when Jackie Brown becomes available again, like if we see it pop
We
up,
might do a throwback or something.
well, yeah, we'll fit it in there just to kind of make sure we complete the list. But that's all bearing licensing issues and that bullshit within.
Unless we could find a way to find somebody who has it and share it with all of us at some point.
I don't want to watch
you
a
know.
fucking movie on Discord, bro.
Yeah, I know.
That is
Or
I'm
if they or
sitting at my fucking desk watching it through a bubble that ain't even full screen.
do you own it on DVD?
No.
Okay, see if we could
I
find.
mean, you could probably find the Blu-ray with no digital code. That's probably being sold because that was being sold
we
before.
wouldn't rip it or anything and share the file or nothing.
Rip it? I don't even have a fucking CD drive. You got a Blu-ray drive?
Yeah.
I don't. I ain't ripping shit. I'll throw on the VPN and find one if that's the case. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. We're gonna end for the evening. Check back next week. We'll try to get better about like posting, and I'll have to throw like a text channel for Nerd 2 Movie Podcast in the Discord, like one that's accessible from everybody. And,
at least throw the Discord up there now, and then we'll get it going, and start following at least, and then
it'll be under the Nerd 2 Discord, but it'll be its own separate text chain where we'll announce movies and we'll have movie talk and shit in there. I've been meaning to do that. I've been meaning to do a lot of things, but yeah, we will see you guys.
I'm still learning all that shit, so
it only takes 2 hours to know everything you need to know.
But I'm an old dog, and you know what they say.
You gotta kick them till they're dead.
Yes.
All right. On that terrible disappointment. Good night, everybody. He's not gonna say good night.
Good night. Sorry, I thought you.